but I feel like I'm overthinking. I know I'm overthinking a lot of this. I have no idea what I'm doing. Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to start writing draft 0. I'm terrified. I'm excited as well, immensely excited, but the terror sometimes takes over. It's a healthy balance between the two. If you're new here, hi, I'm Aman. I speak about my writing journey, and this includes writing, reading, illustrating, and anything else that relates to the project I'm working on. I'm currently working on Project Emerald, which is a fantasy novel with a romance subplot. This is the first novel I've ever written, the first manuscript I've ever attempted to write, all of the above. And I have just completed the brainstorming and outlining phase of this novel, so now it's time to actually start writing, and I will be starting with writing draft 0. I have been binging a lot of content regarding draft 0 to understand what other people do for this draft and what I want to do for mine. And I've come to the conclusion that I will be writing the entire manuscript. However, the goal of this draft is to just get everything that I have in my head about the story onto paper, and I will fill in all the little gaps in the next draft. So when I come to places where there are things that are missing in the world development or character aspects, I will have two routes to take. Firstly, if it's something huge, like a huge aspect of the world that impacts the majority of the novel, I will pause the drafting, develop the world on the side, and then come back and continue drafting. If it's something smaller, like a character name or a piece of information that I can figure out later on, I will just put it in brackets and say insert character name here or develop location here. And those will be things that I pick up when I do a prep for draft 1, which will be later on in the year. So that is how I'm looking at this draft. That is what I'm doing with this. And I have given myself a long time to work on draft 0 because, as I mentioned, this is the first draft I've ever written, first manuscript I've ever tried to write. So there's a lot of things that I will be learning on the way, a lot of things I will be figuring out, not only writing, but also developing the world. On top of that, figuring out what my writing process is, what my writing habits are. I do have a full 9 to 5 job, so figuring out the balance between the two, this is going to be a huge learning curve in so many ways, and so I want to give myself enough time to do that while still enjoying the entire process. So I have given myself up to the end of September to write this draft. I do go into more detail in terms of my 2025 goals in this video, so be sure to check that out if you want to know more. But I am giving myself until the end of September to write this draft. Is that too much? Is that too little? I have no clue. That is just what I put down as a placeholder for the time being, so that I can write, I can develop the world, and I can brainstorm alongside in an enjoyable way without feeling too much pressure. So it's going to be a big journey, it's going to be fun, and I will be documenting the whole process here. So make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of the videos. The aim of this particular week is going to be to write the first chapter. Whether that is the entire chapter or just as far as I get will depend on how the week goes, but that is the aim. Oh, also, I've changed these lights to emerald because it's called Project Emerald. In previous videos, they're pink, they're blue. I don't know why I never changed them to this before, but here we are. For the rest of this project, the videos are going to be this color, unless I get bored of them. But I quite like the fact that the color matches the name, so hopefully they stay. I'm actually going to do some writing sprints, and I'm going to be doing what's called, I think it's a step ladder sprint. Alyssa in the books has done these, where essentially your sprints go up the in the length and then go back down. So I will be doing a 10-minute sprint, 15-minute, 25-minute, 15-minute, and 10. I'm keeping these on the shorter side because this is the first time I'm attempting to do a sprint like this, but I think it would be a good way to just get over my nerves in the first sprint and then get really into the project and then kind of reduce the time before you get too tired. So that is what I'm going to be attempting. Let's stop procrastinating and just get into it. I have just finished the first sprint, which was 10 minutes long, and it was a good sprint. I got into the project. I actually put some words down, but I feel like I'm overthinking. I know I'm overthinking a lot of this. And I have ideas for some of the latest scenes that I kind of just want to start writing, but then I feel like I should be writing in chronological order. I know that in later revisions, you're going to add scenes to different spaces anyway, so you're not writing in chronological order the whole time. But I feel like in my head, I've got this idea that I should be writing in chronological order, even though I'm being called to write scenes later on. In the same chapter, just later on in the chapter. I don't know. I'm overthinking this way too much. I'm just going to go into the next sprint, which will be 15 minutes, and just try and put some more words down and stop being so stressed about every little thing, which is easier said than done. During this next sprint, I decided to continue writing through the chapter chronologically. However, I ensured that any time I came up with an idea for a later scene, that I made a note of it in the same document, and I realized that this alleviated a lot of my stress and panic, and it made me realize that I was worried that I would forget my ideas. So noting them down to then look at and then write later on, when I got to that point, really helped and meant that I could enjoy the scene that I was writing then, rather than trying to rush to the next one. So I am about to start the third sprint, which is 25 minutes long and is the largest sprint. And I think the initial fear that I had from the first sprint and a little bit on the second sprint is kind of worn off. I think I'm into the chapter enough to just write and to enjoy what I'm writing. I definitely feel this sense of panic because I feel like I'm not writing the right things. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, which I don't, but it's fine that I don't know what I'm doing because it's all part of the whole process of learning. And I'm just having to remind myself that this is the first manuscript that I've ever written, and it's all new. Every single aspect of this process, of this journey, is going to be new to me. So it's going to feel a bit scary. It's going to feel a bit panicky, but I just need to remind myself that it's okay to be a beginner. It's okay to start something from brand new and learn along the way and make mistakes and mess it up and start again and try again. And also to find enjoyment in that. And I know I don't want the fear of the journey to override the enjoyment I get from this craft, from reading, from writing, from creating your own worlds, from delving into them and into the characters and working on your own project and having your own passions. I really don't want the fear and panic that I have to override that. So I'm just having to remind myself to take a breath, that it's okay, that I can do this and I can enjoy it and I can come back to it and revise and I can come back and change things. But I think I have this innate fear that I want to get it right the first time, or this innate fear that I have no idea what I'm doing and it just keeps like whispering to me. So I think I'm in the process of trying to figure out how to, one, deal with that voice, and two, change the voice as well. So that is where I'm at. I'm going to do these next couple of sprints and then I will probably catch up with you afterwards. Good morning. It's actually the next day now. The sprints yesterday went so well. That step ladder approach to sprints, I loved it. I'm definitely going to do that more often. I found that it allowed me for the first and second sprints to kind of just get into the project, and then I could really write and then ease back out of it before I got too creatively tired and before I overworked it or made unnecessary adjustments. That sprint worked amazing. I'm definitely going to do that more often. I did get over my fear and my panic in the first 2 sprints, and then after that I was just enjoying the project, enjoying writing, and that was something that I really needed as like kind of a boost to make me feel more comfortable with attempting to write this manuscript and just having a go at it. So I loved that yesterday. It's boosted my mood, it's boosted my confidence, boosted my energy, everything. So I ended up in total writing 797 words for the chapter, which obviously is not a lot really for like a whole chapter. There are definitely scenes that are one, missing, and two, there are scenes that need to be extended quite a bit. However, for a first go at writing the chapter, I'm happy with it. I know that there are things that I need to develop in terms of some of the character dialogue and also just some of the scenes in general. There is a lot of things missing. So, what I'm actually going to do is revise the chapter. Now, what I mean by this isn't going to be like a complete revision. I'm essentially going to read through the chapter again because I have a fresh brain now. And I'm just going to add notes and comments. And these are going to be split into 5 categories. So we have world development, character development, plot and structure, location, architecture and design, and general/other. And I'm just going to add in those notes and comments and highlight different sections and also note which scenes I want to be extended, which things are kind of missing that I feel like are missing. So I'm going to do that first. After I've done that, I'm then going to decide whether I'm actually going to pick up those pieces now and start adding in those aspects, or whether that's something I will do in a later revision. I'm not really sure which way I'll go, but I am happy with where this chapter is for this draft. I think I got down what I wanted, and it may be a case that I start adding in and extending scenes that I feel comfortable extending, and other things will be revised in the next draft because I think it will be easier to fill in the gaps once I've written the whole manuscript once. I'm just going to add in my notes and comments, and I will probably catch up with you after that and let you know what I'm going to do next. I'm about to actually start revising now. I essentially annotated the entire chapter. I changed the 5th category from general/other to language, prose, and dialogue because I found that there were a few sentences that didn't quite make sense. There were some words that weren't chosen properly, so I just wanted to comment all of it. Now, what I did with this commenting thing is I just wanted to write down everything that I had in my head on there. So if there was a situation where I thought I needed to add another scene, I wanted to do an extended scene, I wanted to develop a character interaction, any and everything, I just wrote it all down and I feel so much better because of it. I'm glad I got it all out of my head and onto the document in terms of not just writing the chapter but also adding all my notes, because now I feel like I can move on to the next chapters much more freely, and I'm going to do this for all of the chapters as I work through this draft because this is draft 0, not draft 1, and I need to remind myself of that, which is why I'm not going to pick up any of these revisions in this draft. Those will all be for later drafts, but having them all written down and on the document makes me feel a lot better about how I progress in this particular draft and in general. So I'm definitely going to do the same things throughout. I think that I just want to write through the story and add in these notes that I can pick up later on, because otherwise if I try to start revising now with these things that I picked up, I'm going to get lost in the world because I really haven't figured out the story yet. I'm going to get lost in the characters, and I'm just going to get also lost in the little things when that is just not, this is not the time and place for it. So I am done with chapter 1 for this draft, which was exactly the aim of this video, and I feel so good about it. I feel like now that I've understood how I want to progress in this draft, that I can just keep it going, and I'm really happy with my progress. I'm really happy with how I'm working on this draft. I'm also really happy with what my mindset is, because although earlier on in this video I was stressed and panicked and overthinking a lot of things, I feel like I've kind of gotten over that. I know it will certainly come up in the future, but I figured out how to get over it in terms of just focusing on the enjoyment of the journey, figuring out ways to change that voice in my head that is telling me I have no idea what I'm doing, because I'm learning and I'm enjoying the journey of learning this entire process. And that is actually it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, as I will be continuing to document this journey. Other than that, I will see you in the next one. Happy writing!